Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome each of you to today's Feature Broker Hunter webinar, Inside the Super Branch Model, Why It Works for Managers and Advisors, brought to you today by Securities America. I am David Testerman, co-founder and managing partner of BrokerHunter.com, and will be your moderator for today's presentation. Before I get started and we introduce our featured speaker, let's take a moment to ensure that everyone is ready and familiar with the webinar control panel. We will be hosting a Q&A session at the end of the formal presentation, so please make sure to ask any questions you have along the way via the question pane on the control panel. We're going to try to get to as many of these as time permits at the end of the session. We do have an hour allocated for this, but the speaking part should be around 25-30 minutes, so ample time for Q&A. Also, if you're experiencing any difficulty technical, please let us know. And this webinar, again, will be recorded, so there will be an opportunity to view the presentation again after today's live presentation. You'll be sent an email following this presentation, and you'll have a link to view this presentation again on demand. Before we jump right into introducing our featured speaker today, I would like to do a quick poll here and get a feel for where everybody is coming from today. So first question we have for the poll is, why do you want to, let's go ahead and launch that. Why do you want to grow your branch office? And we'll open the poll here for a minute, and if everybody could take a few moments here to answer that. That would be wonderful. Very nice. And a couple more minutes, and we'll close this one out. And an overwhelming majority of you have said that increasing profits and footprint is one of the primary reasons you're wanting to do that, followed by, of course, this is a multiple select, but followed by a fairly even distribution among the others. So that's great. Thank you very much for answering that. And then let's jump into one more poll here before we get started. What do you feel like is the greatest obstacle in keeping your branch office from growing? And if you can take a moment to answer that. And we'll keep that open for another few moments here. Very good. Looks like most of you have had a chance to answer that. Thank you very much for your answers there. The majority on this poll, looks like 52% say a lack of qualified advisors is one of the biggest obstacles. So very good, and thank you very much for taking the time there. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in here, and I'd like to introduce our featured speaker for today. Our featured speaker is Mr. Gregg Johnson with Securities America. Gregg is the Executive Vice President of Branch Office Development and Acquisition. And Gregg, the floor is now yours.
Great. Thank you, David, and thank you everyone who is out there listening in and participating today. This is a very time-sensitive, timely topic inside the super branch model, why it works for managers and advisors, and it's something that we get questions and calls on a very regular basis, both from our existing branch managers and advisors, as well as those advisors and branch managers that are outside of Securities America. So let's jump right in. Recently ran across a statistic you see here that shows the next decade could present some excellent opportunities for advisors looking to build a branch, or OSJs who want to elevate their existing branch to super branch status. Over the next 10 years, demand for financial advisors projected to grow, and competition for top producers will be extremely high. By developing the right plan now, you can reap the rewards of a successful branch down the road. The financial advisory business is in the middle of great changes. As you all know, if you're in the business, increasing regulations, evolving technologies, and new competitors are altering the landscape in ways that few of us would have ever thought possible even a few years ago. Now, these shifts which also have affected the economics of the advice business, present a wide set of challenges and opportunities for advisors, especially those who already operate in the independent channel, and for those who manage small firms or large branches. Many advisors are discovering that branches and super branches offer independence suited to this new business environment. Now, a couple other numbers to throw out here. In the next 5 years, the aggregate predicted wealth of the mass affluent segment will witness meaningful growth. The projections show that over the same period, that 5 years, that advisor count in our industry at best will remain flat, and that's due to the demographics of the advisor population and the challenges that we as an industry face in bringing younger people into our business. Additionally, assets per advisor will increase dramatically over the next 5 years, which means if you're an advisor, if you want to grow, you'll have to evolve your practice to handle potentially more clients than you do today. Now, the need for financial advisors has never been greater. The American population needs access to all of us, and the mass affluent marketplace continues to be ripe for growth, and advisors are the ones that are ready to service the segment. Recent Cirilli data shows that households with 100,000 to 2 million of investable assets represent around 23% of American households, but they represent over 40% of the retail wealth. What all this does is tell us that the opportunity is great and it's ahead of us. Now, since there's no regulatory definition of a super branch, and since broker-dealers have different criteria for classifying an OSJ as a super branch, it's tough to gather definitive numbers on the size of that super branch phenomenon. But anecdotal evidence from advisors, recruiters, and broker-dealers suggests the number of super branches is growing, as is the number of advisors that are affiliating with those branches. At the end of 2015, there were roughly 175 super branches, and that's an increase of about 7.5% over the previous year. Now, if your goal is to build a branch or to take your existing branch to new heights, there hasn't been a better time to achieve those goals than right now. The rising cost of complying with new regulations has independent advisors looking for the security of a group, a branch, with the resources to help them build a practice. Several smaller independent broker-dealers are also winding down due to the cost of implementing regulations like the DOL's fiduciary rule, the impending SEC requirements, and others are forcing advisors into captive business models. Some independent broker-dealers have become so large that advisors aren't receiving the service and recognition they've come to expect, and more wirehouse advisors are attracted to the freedom of independence but still want the safety net of turnkey services. All this upheaval across the industry creates opportunities for branch builders to get in front of advisors in motion and to tell their unique story. As margins continue to be compressed by rising costs, more and more firms are consolidating to form super branches under an independent broker-dealer as a way to offload expenses and responsibilities that's related to compliance, supervision, and technology. In addition, large numbers of advisors who will be retiring in upcoming years are joining super branches that are offering continuity and succession plans to protect their firm's future. Now, there are many reasons to take advantage of the current recruiting climate to add to your branch. Many branch managers and small broker-dealer principals find becoming a super branch can provide a vehicle for expansion and wealth creation. In addition, a well-run branch can help you increase revenue, can redistribute or distribute overhead, can create a continuity plan for an advisor's book of business, and it can give the personal satisfaction of helping others build successful practices. While each super branch is unique, there are several characteristics that make the model desirable for branch managers and owners of small broker-dealers looking to expand. In the past, advisors who wanted to build their own business organization would often form a broker-dealer. Now today, the economics of creating and operating a broker-dealer are such that only large-scale organizations can successfully meet the technology, compliance, and other operating challenges. The reason that those producers became a broker-dealer in the past have diminished or actually been eliminated. Now, many longtime advisors and managers spent their early years at smaller broker-dealers where close-knit relationships and strong corporate cultures were formed. The career satisfaction that came from those relationships is often missing in today's larger corporate structures. But many of those who have formed super branches have been able to recreate that small firm culture. So in essence, keep the culture and the feel of that small company while leveraging the capabilities and services of a larger organization. Now, a super branch can provide advisors a better base for business growth and profitability. Since adding affiliated advisors is the key to growth in the retail securities business, the economics of a super branch make it an attractive home for advisors seeking independence and support. For many of today's advisors, affiliating with a super branch can be more rewarding financially and more satisfying professionally than a direct broker-dealer affiliation. When affiliating with a broker-dealer as an independent, advisors incur the costs and assume the responsibilities associated with being in business by themselves and for themselves. In addition to expected business expenses, advisors soon realize that they'll incur the cost of health coverage. As a function of their size, super branches can typically negotiate group health plan coverage at rates significantly below what an advisor could secure on his or her own. Now, because compliance experts at super branches can become more familiar with each advisor's business, they can serve as a sounding board before issues emerge. Super branches are particularly well equipped to manage the complicated rules governing FINRA, SEC, and DOL oversight. And what we've experienced is those experts in those branches are well suited to interface directly with the principals at the broker-dealer and better vet issues and problems before they arise. Working completely on their own is one of the biggest fears that advisors face when considering independence. As a result of their entrepreneurial spirit and business building programs, super branches can offer a culture that embraces independent advisors and provides that important sense of community. Unlike advisors who affiliate independently and must create their own marketing programs, advisors affiliated with a super branch can benefit from the branch's financial strength to invest in specialized marketing efforts and assist in lead generation and referrals. In addition, super branches foster an environment where advisors are encouraged to share best practices and success stories. Leading super branch-oriented broker-dealers create comprehensive business building programs that will support educational and training opportunities, user groups for firms using the same software, and peer group councils for branch managers, advisors, and assistants. One of the main reasons advisors choose independence is to realize the value of the business they created when it comes time to sell. Through the programs many super branches have put in place, advisors can maximize that value as well as plan for their succession and retirement in ways that best meet their needs and enhance their financial well-being. Many super branches help find suitable succession candidates for their advisors and arrange independently or through their broker-dealer to finance the succession and acquisition process. In many instances where that succession plan is not able to be easily identified by another advisor, many super branch leaders step in and create that succession plan in the interim period. Whether you're just starting to build a branch or looking to build on an already successful branch, it's important to step back and take a close look at what's motivating you. You should start by clarifying for yourself, why are you running, or why do you want to run, a branch office? Maybe it's personal satisfaction. Is it to develop or use leadership skills? Is it to satisfy an entrepreneurial desire? To share knowledge and experience with others? To create a long-term succession plan? Or is it for an opportunity to earn more dollars? Advisors considering a move to another broker-dealer and joining a branch typically expect to improve their practice. They want to be more productive, profitable, and successful. As a branch manager, you know you can't be all things to all advisors. You'll need to make decisions about the kinds of services and support you'll provide to your advisors. Answering a few of the following questions will give you some insight into the value you can provide to the advisors who join your branch. Some of those questions are, what services am I willing to provide advisors today? Why would advisors seek these services from me and not other branch managers? What will be the greatest value for advisors in my branch? Or what separates my group from the competition? When recruiting for your branch, it's important to remember that culture is often the deciding factor for an advisor considering a move. When Securities America asked its top branch managers to describe the key elements of our branch culture, they mentioned things like access to professional development, type of leadership in the group. Is it branded, not branded, and what's the quality of that branding? What's the community that's available? What kind of technology is utilized or available? What are the process and procedures involved in my day-to-day business? Is there continuity that's provided or offered? And will my branch or my leadership of the branch be advocates for me and my practice? Now, before you start building a recruiting plan, be sure to take time to define your branch culture. So if you were asked by a prospective advisor what makes it unique, you can clearly show them. Now, many of you out there are probably advisors yourself, and you've spent time developing that elevator speech, so to speak. That also needs to be created if you're a branch manager looking to bring on other advisors. You need to have that same elevator speech to describe all of those things to a prospective advisor who's considering you and your branch. Now, there's never been a better time to be a branch builder. The super branch model is proving to be beneficial for advisors seeking independence with the benefits of collaboration, and for branch managers and small broker-dealer owners who want to expand their enterprise without the burdens of being a broker-dealer or carrying the brunt of the regulatory responsibilities. With support from a broker-dealer like Securities America that is committed to the model, the super branch structure can be an especially rewarding route for managers of existing multi-advisor and multi-branch businesses who want to grow, as well as for advisors who want independence without having to work alone. Now, what you're seeing on the screen is some information. We invite you to download a free copy of our new white paper, Inside the Super Branch Model, Why It Works for Managers and Advisors. This white paper provides information about aspects of the super branch model that present compelling business building opportunities for entrepreneurial-minded managers and career opportunities for advisors. To get your free white paper from Securities America, go to practicebuildertools.com, or you can call today at 800-989-8411. Again, practicebuildertools.com or 800-989-8411.
All right, great job, Greg. Thanks so much for the presentation. Sure, we're going to get, and it looks like we're getting quite a few questions rolling in right now. And from the polling, it looks like finding qualified advisors and recruiting is certainly the one of the hot topics here. But let's take some questions here. Here's kind of the first one from one of our audience members: is what are some of the services Securities America provides for someone that's wanting to really build out their branch?
Great question. Thank you for that question. I think it all starts with that branch builder exercise that I referenced earlier. I think it's important to have a plan. I think as advisors, we all talk to our clients about having a plan. That same type of planning process is something that needs to be done if you want to build a branch or build out a successful branch. So that branch builder exercise goes through and talks about all the details that are necessary to build out a branch. What is it that you're looking to provide for services and capabilities? What markets are you looking to grow in? Who are the chief competitors in those markets? What type of advisors are available in the markets, and what type of advisor do you want to have in your branch? All of these questions, as well as then putting an actual recruiting plan in place, go into that exercise. I think the recruiting plan is what's the next step is critically important. Who's going to do what? What is the branch going to do? Do you have resources? Do you have a dedicated resource in the recruiting and transition side, or is that something that is done by committee or by certain people who are also advisors? We also then put something in place that's the accountability of what, as a broker-dealer, will provide. What type of marketing support is there? Is there a regional recruiter, and there's an introduction to that regional recruiter that covers the area so that he or she gets to know the branch well. And then, of course, it's implementation. From a tools perspective, we have robust branch reporting tools that allow a branch leader to manage the business, manage existing reps. We have a robust contact management system and marketing campaign program that helps us generate campaigns to try and provide leads. And how do we want to follow up, or how can we most effectively follow up with those leads? So those are just a few of the things that we do to try to help support that branch leader who's looking to grow or wanting to start growing.
Okay, very good. Kind of little question here on the DOL. How is the DOL legislation fueling the rise of super branches?
Yeah, there isn't an aspect of our business that's not being impacted or will not be impacted by DOL and the continually growing regulatory environment. What we're seeing is that the advisor who is out there, who is hungry for information about what is this new regulation, what is this new legislation, how will it impact me, how will it impact the way that I do business, and they're looking for information, resources, and help. And so what we're seeing is it's really created a spike in activity of prospective advisors looking to gather information, conduct due diligence, and in many instances find a new home, especially where they aren't comfortable, he or she's not comfortable with the services that they're getting from their current partner, the information that's been provided. Or in some instances, we've seen some broker-dealer partners that have made decisions to not allow commission business in retirement accounts, or have made other decisions of not allowing brokerage, or not allowing held direct or held away positions and driving them into brokerage accounts. It's caused those types of advisors that do that business to look for another partner that will allow them to continue to do business as they're accustomed. So it's really helped spike activity out there in the market of advisors at least gathering information and many times conducting due diligence to find a new partner.
Okay, very good. From what you've seen, Greg, in particular within your organization, are successful branch managers, are they, a lot of times, are they in production themselves, or do you find that they, for the most part, only kind of manage the operations of the branch?
Yeah, David, there's not a one profile here, at least within the Securities America system. When I look at our top 20 groups, our top 20 branches, probably a majority of those leaders do have their own book of business, but not all of them have their own clients. I think those who have their own client base, they do face challenges of being able to juggle both jobs, which many times are full-time jobs. But what we see is they have a very strong support group, staff, where they have designated principals that are overseeing the new account review and trade review. They've got very strong administrative staff to help provide that high level of support to their advisors as well as to their books of business and taking care of their clients. For those successful branch managers that don't have their own book of business, though, they're able to dedicate their time to growing the business, marketing and bringing on new advisors, and coaching and training their existing advisors. So that answer isn't a one-size-fits-all. We see that they're very successful, and frankly, that's what's so great about the independent business model, is there isn't just one way that you can do business and be successful. That entrepreneurial spirit allows someone to kind of find their own way and build their own business. The key is finding a partner and finding advisors that help you build that together.
Okay, that's great. Sounds like there's a lot of latitude in building a branch out to your strengths and managing it that way. That's great. I'm kind of going back here and looking at the poll again, and it was fairly interesting here. Most of you out there said the greatest obstacle to growing your branch was, surprisingly, but then again, maybe not, it was 52% of the audience today said a lack of qualified advisors, was causing a hindrance to growth. And then number two, followed shortly behind that, was time to recruit. So the recruiting topic is for a lot of branches is certainly a real head scratcher as far as how do you target and find those advisors, and then probably equally as how in the world do you find time to do it in conjunction with everything else. So I guess, can you expand a little bit more about how you all help your branches, in addition to helping them build out their recruiting profile, but are there some resources there that you can help leverage their time in certain markets to prospect reps?
Yeah, David, great question. I think I would answer it first from an industry perspective, and just the challenge of finding qualified advisors goes back to one of the slides that we had in the presentation, and that's just that the demographics, we're either seeing flat growth or no growth, and actually decreasing numbers of advisors. That's just the fact that we're looking at in the industry as fewer and fewer organizations bring on new advisors and train them, as the demographics and the aging out of the advisors continues that mirrors the general population. The advisor population is shrinking, not growing. So that creates a challenge. We do have a number of advisors that are able to work well past what they may have intended or had a goal of in retirement because of the advances in technology, because of the move of their business to more advisory or less time-sensitive interaction and trading. So all of those dynamics create that challenge. What we try to help and support our branch managers and our producer group leaders at Securities America falls into a few buckets. One is just building awareness, being known out in the marketplace, continuing to publicize and advertise that we support branches and producer groups so that the awareness is there for advisors that are looking for that branch atmosphere, that they look to us. Second, we work, again, referencing the branch builder, we look to build out a lead generation and recruiting plan. And that could include direct mail, email blasts, joint branded marketing campaigns that are looking for advisors within a certain geography that one of our branches is looking to expand in. And so we're able to help private label those types of marketing campaigns for those branches and work with them to help generate that activity. The other thing is just being able to help in closing or telling the story. In an instance where we have a good branch that has a strong value proposition, it's how do we put those two stories together? how do we tell that story, either going out with someone from the branch to see prospective reps, or bringing them into our home office to get a feel for the culture, or also, or in addition to, helping them with that home office visit in the branch, where the prospective advisor can come in, get to know the branch culture, get to know the branch leadership, and participate in some meetings and get to know other advisors that they'd be able to work with. So all of those are moving parts. Every advisor's practice is unique. Every advisor is unique for what they're looking for to help them grow their business. So you have to be able to fashion that story and the process to each branch and to each prospective advisor.
Yeah, that's great. And I think from a super branch perspective, I think there's, what we've seen from certainly being around recruiting for a long time is, most of the successful super branches, and many of the ones on the call today, you kind of figured out how to grow from 10 to 15 reps, maybe up to 25, 35, and you get some critical mass there. One of the hardest hurdles we've ever seen is when you do make a decision to grow even up to, 5, 7, 10 reps, is a lot of times you're going outside of your network then and having to really ramp up your recruiting. I think a lot of times firms and branches are shocked by the difficulty and the cost associated with really, once you go outside of your network, to find qualified advisors. So I think partnering with someone that has the expertise and has been around the block and done it quite a little bit certainly helps when developing a plan. And then I think you also touched upon, as simple as it sounds, is lead generation. You've got to have a flow of prospective reps coming to you. You're not going to close every one. And I think being able to figure out a good solid lead generation program that's consistent to help leverage your time is very important. All right,
David, if I could just jump in, you said something that jarred my memory on a couple of points for your last question.
Sure.
You used the term partners, and I think when you're looking at lead generation, other things that we do to try to help support our branches is by giving those best practice ideas or sharing what's working. And definitely what works is by leveraging your product partners, by those partners that you're giving business to and you're working with. Make sure they understand and know what you want to, if you want to grow and if you're looking for advisors, and what that advisor looks like. The networking that you can do with the people that you interact with on a daily basis is tremendously beneficial for helping you get your story out and get prospective advisors that are possibly in motion introduced to you. The other one that's very rarely utilized and it's overlooked is just networking with yourselves. The advisors that are in your group, you as a branch leader, you go to due diligence meetings, maybe not as much as we used to with the changes in the regulatory environment, but you're participating in community groups. You're going to FPA conferences. You're seeing other advisors, maybe advisors that you worked with at a previous firm. All of those, it's just like prospecting for new clients, asking your existing clients for referrals to other people who can do business with you as clients. The same thing needs to be done with your reps helping you grow your branch, and with you wanting to grow your branch by making sure you're networking and people know that you're looking for other advisors and want to grow. So make sure you network with partners and you network with other advisors in your community to help drive those qualified leads to you. And we have programs, we have marketing pieces that can be branded with the branch's name that helps facilitate that from Securities America.
Okay. Greg, I know you guys have a lot of experience, and you've dealt with a lot of bringing over big offices and smaller BDs. Can you talk a little bit maybe about, just in generalities, about the economics of, say, having a 25 or 30 person broker-dealer and moving into a a super OSJ platform? I know that's pretty general, but anything you find there that is perhaps surprising to somebody when they're taking a look around?
I think again, it's just unique. Every office has different motivations. Every leader has different motivations. I think when you look at the number of the key kind of the legs on the stool, the things that are driving people to look, also create those unique challenges. It's the economics, it's the payouts and pricing. It's what's the cost to administer and staff, and those are different depending on the type of structure or model that you're in today. If you're your own broker-dealer, you've seen margins shrink over the last 5 to 10 years to where if there's margin left at all, it's deteriorated significantly. If you're running a branch, you've also seen those margins decrease as you see investing clients with margin compression as they start trying to leverage better deals, advisors who are looking for more payout or more support. And so all of those margin compressions touch every lateral and vertical piece of the business. I've heard people say, and you look at today that the regulatory environment and the changes that are taking place are significant, but if you've been in the business for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you can look at any of those times and we've seen similar challenges, and we're going to continue to see similar challenges as we go forward. I think that's just where you have to be nimble as an advisor and always look at how you do business and how you price, just like a branch manager or a producer group leader needs to always look for how they're priced and how they're structured.
Okay, very good. And kind of along that same theme here, I have a couple questions here. One question is there an average kind of ballpark margin for a full service super branch, that you're seeing out there?
That's a great question, David.
It's a tough one.
And again, it's like the question that was asked earlier about do we see that most managers have their own book or don't have their own book? I think that also dictates the type of margin that they're looking for. Are they looking for the branch structure to help them support their personal book, and they hire that support of the advisors? Or if it's their full-time job and they're able to offer extensive coaching, extensive training, going out and going on joint calls with prospects or clients, the latter requires more margin. The former does not require as much margin. And so I think in general terms, I'd say that a typical branch that is providing that really detailed support and joint call and financial support and marketing, they're looking at a 10% margin, 5 to 10%. For those that are back office and do cultural type things and team building, there you're in that probably 5% margin area. So you really have to look at your pricing. Understandably, or I guess I should note that there are many that have higher than 10% margin, but those are some that are really providing value, providing client acquisition support, providing case support and joint case type help. Okay,
very good. So that's something that would be easier to determine to put together some numbers for someone kind of in the discovery phase of evaluating the various service levels.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they would need. Okay, so that's great. And then again, this is probably an offshoot of this same theme, but what are you seeing the payouts to the actual advisors that are within a super branch model? Is there any standard there?
We offer a great deal of flexibility for how that relationship with an advisor is put. We have some branches that offer kind of an employee type model where they're they're providing office space, administrative support, phones. So it's the way to attract that person, that professional who is in a wirehouse or semi-captive environment, the way they can come in and have a turnkey solution. So they don't have to make a decision to go independent, move their client base, and then also go out, negotiate a lease, figure out their internet provider, their phone provider, staff it accordingly. So we have a number of successful branches that have that turnkey approach. And, there you're looking at giving up, 20 to 25 points as an advisor, but that value is there so that they can simply pick up, own their book of business, but not have to worry about the things that if they went entirely independent on their own would be. We have on the flip side of that, those that are looking at 3 to 5% override, and it may not be as significant of services as what we saw in that previous example, but they're providing administrative support, annual or quarterly branch meetings, and just being that representative or that advocate with the broker-dealer partner. And then you have the in-between too, and again, it's based on what is the service that's provided by that branch and by that branch leader to show value and helping that advisor grow his or her practice.
Very good, very good. I think those are some great questions. And then I guess, this is kind of a good one to close upon here, but are there any characteristics of a successful branch manager within your organization that you see, outside of recruiting and maybe production that is a theme?
Yeah, I think it goes without saying. We talk about branch leadership, and so I do think one of the driving keys to success is that there's a leadership quality there. There's a desire to lead. There's a desire to help other people. I draw the parallel to coaching in the athletic forum. Is coaches and teachers are usually there because they enjoy helping others. They enjoy seeing others succeed, and they enjoy doing what they might describe as the greater good, while also, of course, getting recognition, at least in the coaching side, of winning. And so I think there's those characteristics spill over to what I see from our successful branches. They have great leadership skills. They're dynamic and able to articulate a message. They're driven by not just being successful themselves, but by seeing other people be successful, and a sense of community. Face it, if people wanted to be alone and would be successful, that's what the independent business model is for a one-person office. But many people like that sense of community. They like to be part of a group to see as a whole succeed, and so I think those characteristics are really prevalent across our successful branch managers. And then we're in a business that allows us to be rewarded economically if we're successful. And so there is a segment there that is that they want to succeed and be good in building that branch because they're also driven for the economics, and that's also part of it.
That's great. That's great. Another topic, in addition to the DOL, that's certainly talked about a lot is succession planning and the aging of the industry. If a branch has, let's say, if they're 30 or 40 reps, and the majority of the advisors there are nearing or right at the cusp of retirement age, how do you all address the succession issue with the branch and help them navigate that?
Yeah, a number of years ago, we built out a junior advisor contract and a junior advisor training program. We have a very robust practice management team. They've developed a number of coaching programs that are made available to our advisors. This one, the junior advisor training program, was built again because fewer organizations in our industry are bringing on new advisors and training them. And especially in the independent world, where you are an independent business owner, how do you bring on a new advisor, a junior advisor, and help get them up to speed, either to take on a portion of a book, some of the book, or be a succession plan. And so we built out this training curriculum that an advisor can utilize to help bring on and train a new advisor. So you don't have to recreate the wheel and do everything yourself. We have programs through our practice management where we can help identify and find candidates, whether it be staff or advisors, building out classified ads, sorting through leads, helping do preliminary interviews and things like that. So building out the next generation of advisor is critical for all of us and for the industry. And it's critical for the example that you just gave, David, of advisors who were either looking to retire or semi-retire, or frankly their book has gotten so big that they want to carve it up and concentrate on the upper half. And so helping identify those prospective advisors, train them in the independent side, and give the tools to that advisor or that branch manager to help them train the advisor so that they can step in and take on a portion or all of the book is something that we really try to put resources to and help our advisors do.
Great, that's great. Well, very good. We're getting kind of towards the end of the hour here, but briefly, I guess, tell us if you're a branch or an advisor on the call today and they wanted to find out some more details or perhaps talk to someone, what's the best way to reach out to Securities America and perhaps get some more information?
You bet. So the white paper is, I would recommend grab that, read through it. I think that covers a number of the topics and more that we talked about today. Again, that's practicebuildertools.com, or you can call 800-989-8441, or go out on the website to joinsai.com, and all of those places have a number of different pieces of information, research, and tools that could help you learn more, not just about Securities America, but about the topics that we've discussed today and impact the industry.
Very good. That looks like the last question for today. So with that, I'd like to thank you for a great presentation. I'm sure you've given everybody a lot to think about today as they're coming up with their recruiting plans. For the audience, I'd like to thank you for your time today as well. Again, this webinar has been recorded. We will send a link out along with an email after this presentation so you can watch it again on demand, forward it to a friend or a colleague, and also this information Greg just went over here with where to download the white paper and contact them will be included in that email as well. So with that being said, I'd like to appreciate everybody's time today, and hope everybody has a great rest of the day and rest of the week. Thanks so much. Goodbye.